My son didn't just betray me. He robbed me clean, walked out the door, and made sure I couldn't even buy bread the next morning. My son took all our savings and vanished. People repeat that sentence like it's a movie plot, but this was real, and it was brutal. I found out the same morning he told me he'd stop by later to help fix the porch. That was the last lie he ever told me. The first alert from the bank came at 6:12 a.m., then another and another. Every notification hit like a slap. Transfers, withdrawals, our entire life savings draining out while I was standing in the kitchen still believing my child was a decent man. I called him. Straight to voicemail. I called again. Blocked. When I opened the bedroom closet, his suitcase was gone. No note, no explanation. Just empty shelves where I once kept the things he said he'd borrow for a day. My husband saw the statements, clutched his chest, and told me he wouldn't do this to us. 3 days later, he was gone too. I buried my husband and lived alone for 25 years. No calls, no apology, nothing from the boy I raised. Then one morning, a knock. Not soft, sharp. Like someone who wasn't afraid of my reaction. A young woman, maybe 22, stared me straight in the face and said, "I'm your son's daughter. He just died, and he left you something." She handed me a storage key, cold metal, no explanation, just a key and the kind of look people give when they don't know how to deliver bad news. Stay till the end. You'll see why. Like this video, so more people hear the truth. Comment if you've ever been betrayed by your own blood. When that girl, Emily, placed the key in my hand, she didn't flinch. Most people avoid looking straight into the eyes of someone whose life just cracked open again. But she didn't. She stood there like she already knew exactly what my next 24 hours would look like. I didn't invite her in at first. I just watched her. The shape of her jaw, the set of her shoulders. Something about her felt familiar, but I refused to let my mind go there. Blood ties don't mean a damn thing after what her father did. "Are you going to take it?" she asked, her voice flat, almost businesslike. "I took it," I said. "That doesn't mean I trust anything that comes with it." Her eyes tightened, just a small twitch. "Look, I'm not here to defend him. I barely knew him. But he said you were the only person who deserved what's in that unit." Deserved. That word shoved something sharp into my gut. I stepped aside. "Come in." She walked in like someone who'd been raised without softness, careful, quiet, always watching. Exactly how I'd been for the last 25 years. I made coffee more out of habit than hospitality. She didn't touch hers. "I guess he told you what he did to us," I said. "He told me he made mistakes." She said the word with sarcasm thick enough to taste. "Mistakes," I repeated. "He destroyed 2 lives." Emily nodded slowly, as if she'd expected the anger, but not the calmness behind it. I didn't raise my voice, not once. Rage with control hits harder. People sense it. I asked, "When did he die?" 6 days ago, she said. "Stroke. Fast." Fast, of course. Life protected him until the last moment. "Why come to me?" I asked. "Because he insisted. He made me promise. And because I wanted answers too." "About him?" "No." She looked straight into me. "About you." That landed heavier than it should have. I studied her a little more. Her steady breathing, her hands curled tight around her bag strap. She wasn't scared of me. She was scared of the truth she carried. "Why should I go open anything he left behind?" I asked. "All he ever gave me was loss." "Because," she said, "what's in there? He didn't want anyone but you to see, not even me." The room went still. Air thickened. Even the clock on the wall sounded louder. I'd spent a quarter of a century trying not to imagine where my son went, who he became, what else he'd done. I learned to sleep through the ache. I learned to swallow the questions. I learned to live without answers. But a locked storage unit with my name attached to it? He knew I wouldn't ignore that. Emily set a document on the table. It was a rental receipt. My name written in his handwriting, the same handwriting he used when he forged my signature on the withdrawal forms. Seeing it again twisted something inside me. He'd written my name like he owned it. He kept paying the fee every month, she said. Never missed a payment. He said if he died before giving you the key, someone would contact you. Meaning you. Yes. I leaned back in my chair. The coffee was cold. My hands weren't. Tell me something, I said. Did he ever talk about us? Me or my husband? Emily hesitated, not because she didn't know the answer, but because she didn't know if she should say it. Tell me, I pressed. Her voice dropped. He told me he regretted one thing in his life. Just one. I waited. He said he destroyed the only people who ever truly loved him. My jaw tightened. You believe that? I believe he felt cornered, and when cornered, he hurt people before they could hurt him. She paused. Same pattern everywhere he went. That was my son. Not the boy I raised, but the man I never got to know. A man who weaponized fear. A man who ran from consequences. A man who called theft a mistake. I stood up. Get in the car. Emily blinked. Now? Yes. I'm not letting this sit another night. We drove in silence, her eyes fixed forward, mine fixed somewhere 15 years back. The roads were familiar, but the weight in the car was new. When we reached the storage facility, the lights flickered like they were bracing for what was coming. Unit 109, dust on the corners of the lock, time sealed into metal. Emily stepped aside. It's yours, she said. I held the key he left. Same size, same shape as the house key he stole when he walked away. My hands didn't shake. They didn't even hesitate. But just as I put the key into the lock, Emily said something that made me stop cold. There's one more thing you should know before you open it. I turned slowly. What? Her expression shifted, the kind of shift you see when someone is about to break open a truth you can't unhear. My father left me a message too. He said if you ever open this unit without knowing who really took the money, it would destroy you. Destroy me. Not shock me. Not upset me. Destroy me. And for the first time in 25 years, I felt my heartbeat in my throat. Emily's words didn't echo. They hit. Hard, fast, clean. Who really took the money? She said it like I'd been holding the wrong truth for 25 years, hugging a ghost while the real monster walked free. I didn't respond, didn't even blink. Silence is the only weapon you have when you don't know who the enemy is. Explain, I said. Emily glanced at the lock, then back at me. He told me right before he died. Said the truth wasn't what you think. My son emptied the account, I said. He confessed without confessing. Maybe he did, she said, but he wasn't alone, and he wasn't the one who started it. My breath tightened in my chest, not panic, calculation. Names, I demanded. She shook her head. He made me promise not to say anything until you open the unit. He said everything you need is inside. Inside. A single word, suddenly heavy. I turned the key. The lock clicked. Metal against metal. Sharp. Ugly. Final. The door rolled up with a groan that sounded older than both of us. And that's when I saw the first fracture. Not in the unit. Not in the evidence. In her. Emily's shoulders stiffened. Her breath caught. Her eyes widened for just a second before she forced them back into calm. She knew something. Something she wasn't ready to say. And that changed everything. There wasn't much in the unit, not at first glance. A table, a few boxes, a metal filing cabinet, not the kind of setup a man keeps for sentiment, no photos, no childhood items, nothing personal. This was business. Cold business. I stepped inside, and the first thing I noticed was a small safe bolted to the floor. Emily stepped in behind me, but she kept her distance. You've never been in here, I said, not asking. No, she replied too quickly. Lie, or half lie. Either way, noted. I ran my fingers across the dusty table. A rectangular clean patch sat in the center. Something had been removed recently. "Where's whatever was here?" I asked. "I don't know," she said. Another lie. Not big, but sharp enough to register. The first fracture. I opened a box, bank statements, receipts, none with my name, all tied to accounts I'd never seen. Then I found a folder labeled JM, my husband's initials. My stomach tightened. Inside were medical reports, except they weren't from his last 3 days. They were from months before that. Heart problems he'd hidden from me. Emily watched me read, her eyes darting to my face, studying every change. "He didn't die from the shock," she said quietly. "He was dying long before your son left." I closed the folder, not gently. "So my husband lied too. Maybe he was protecting you." "Don't," I warned. "Don't try to soften anything for me." She went silent. I moved to the filing cabinet. The first drawer was empty. The second, only old envelopes. But the third, it was filled. Papers, proof, connections I couldn't yet understand. But one thing jumped out immediately. A checkbook. My checkbook. The one I didn't even know was missing 25 years ago. And the signatures inside, not mine, not even close. Forgery everywhere. "Your father didn't even try to hide it," I said. "Maybe he wanted you to see it," Emily whispered. "That's not how guilt works. That's how arrogance works." Another look flashed across her face. Guilt, fear, or something uglier. The second fracture. I sat on the cold concrete floor. The safe loomed next to me, locked tight. "Give me your bag," I said. She hesitated, then handed it over. Inside, wrapped in a folded sweater, was a small envelope. My name on the front, handwritten. My throat tightened. "Emily," I said slowly, "you said he never gave you anything for me until he died." She looked away. I didn't think, "Don't lie, not here." She steadied herself. "He gave it to me 4 years ago, told me not to deliver it until he died." There it was. The third fracture. The biggest one yet? A lie big enough to snap whatever fragile trust existed between us. "Why wait?" I asked. "Because I wanted to read it," she said quietly. "And did you?" She nodded. "What did it say?" "I only understood one thing," she whispered. "Your son wasn't the only person involved in that money." My jaw tensed. "Then who was?" I demanded. Emily swallowed hard. That's when I started watching. The line hit me like a cold wave. She wasn't here just to deliver a key. She wasn't here out of duty or curiosity. She was here because she was investigating someone, and whoever she was watching had something to do with the money, the lies, my son's disappearance, and my husband's death. I didn't open the envelope yet, not because I was scared. Fear stopped being part of my life the day my husband died, but because I needed my mind clear. When you open something written by a liar, you don't read the words, you read the motives. So instead of tearing it open, I placed it on the metal table and stood there, watching Emily like she was a stranger who walked into my house with muddy shoes, because in a way, she was. "Tell me exactly what you've been watching," I said. She took a slow breath, steadying herself. "My father changed near the end. He kept everything close. No phone, no friends, no one allowed in his apartment. I knew he was hiding something." "So you followed him?" "Yes." No hesitation this time. Good. I wanted truth without pretty dressing. "And what did you see?" "A pattern," she said. "He met with the same person. Always late, always outside town. Cash only." Cash. Always cash. The signature of a man who trusted no one. "Who was he meeting?" I asked. Her jaw clenched. "I don't know their name, but I know they're connected to you." "To me?" My voice didn't rise, but something inside me twisted. Emily nodded. "He called them the anchor, said you'd understand when the time came." I didn't respond. Not yet. My face stayed still, but inside something sharp was circling. Instead of speaking, I walked to the corner of the unit. A broom leaned against the wall. Cheap plastic handle, bristles bent from years of neglect. I picked it up and swept a small patch of dust from the floor. Slow, controlled. The kind of movement that gives your mind room to line up the pieces. I kept sweeping as I spoke. So he was protecting someone, I said, or working with them, or being used, or using them. We looked at each other. Both answers were possible. Both were ugly. The dust swirled in a thin cloud. The broom scraped softly. The room felt colder than it was. This anchor. Describe them, I said. I never saw their face. Hoodie, gloves, always covered. But they were older. Maybe your age. My age. A chill slid through me. Male? Female? I don't know. I stopped sweeping. A tiny pile of dust sat at my feet. Small, insignificant, but shaped by my hands. Like the truth I'd been forced to accept for 25 years. I turned back to her. You said you wanted answers about me, I said. Why? She hesitated, not with fear, but with calculation. Because my father wasn't scared of anyone, she said. Not even the police. But whenever your name came up, he went quiet. Quiet. My son. Quiet about me. There was no softness in the realization, only a cold slice of clarity. Emily stepped a little closer. He wasn't hiding the money, he was hiding whoever else was part of it. I didn't move, didn't blink. What makes you think I have anything to do with the person he met? Because, she said, after he died, someone came looking for the key. Someone who shouldn't have known it existed. My eyes narrowed. Who? I don't know, but they came to my apartment. Not once. Twice. A beat of silence. What did they ask? I said. They didn't ask. They searched. They tore the place apart. They were looking for something my father left. What did they take? Nothing. She paused, then added quietly, because I'd already moved the key and the letter. I stared at her, and she stared right back and unshaken. That's when the emotional distance snapped into place. A clean line between us. Not hatred, not alliance, just distance. You should have told me that first, I said. I needed to see how you reacted. To what? To the truth, she said. The real truth, not the one you lived with. The broom slipped slightly in my grip. Just a small shift, but enough. Because in that moment, I realized something. If Emily was telling the truth, someone else had been pulling strings long before my son ever touched my money. Someone close, someone who knew my routines, my accounts, my weaknesses, someone who didn't need to break in because they already had access. I set the broom down. That's enough talking, I said. It's time to open the envelope. I picked up the envelope like it was something alive, not fragile, dangerous. Emily watched but didn't speak. Good. I didn't want noise. I wanted truth. The paper tore clean. Inside was a single sheet, no greeting, no apology, just one sentence in my son's handwriting. The handwriting he used when he forged my name once and destroyed my life. Mom, the money wasn't stolen by me, it was stolen through me. I read it twice. The words didn't change. My heartbeat didn't change. But something in my spine did. A cold shift, an old instinct waking up. Emily stepped closer. What does it mean? I folded the letter. Exactly what it says. He didn't empty the account because he wanted to. He emptied it because someone else set it up. But who? I looked around the unit again, slower this time, sharper. Not searching for objects, searching for intent. And that's when I noticed the drawer at the bottom of the filing cabinet, the only one with a new lock. The other drawers were dusty. This one wasn't. I crouched down, tested the lock, then looked at Emily. You have the key to this too? She shook her head. No. She wasn't lying this time. Her face gave nothing away. I reached into my purse, pulled out a screwdriver I keep for small house repairs, and pried the lock open. Metal snapped. Pain shot through my wrist. I ignored it. Inside the drawer was a folder. Not thick, not thin, just intentional. I opened it. The very first page stopped me cold. A signature, clear, neat, undeniable, my husband's. And next to it, the date. 9 days before my son drained the account. Emily saw my expression. "What is it?" I handed her the page. Her eyes widened a little, but her face didn't fall apart the way mine almost did. "He was part of it," she whispered. "Your husband, No," I said sharply. "He didn't sign this." "But his signature." "He didn't sign it." My voice stayed low, controlled. Emily looked again. "You're sure?" "Absolutely. I lived with that man for 34 years. I know how he wrote his own name." She nodded slowly. "So someone forged his signature too. Someone forged both signatures. Mine, my husband's, through my son, a pattern, a strategy, a system." I moved through the rest of the folder. Second page, bank transfer instructions. Third page, life insurance modification request my husband never filed. Fourth, a handwritten note in a script I recognized immediately. Not my son's, not my husband's, my sister's. My throat tightened, not from emotion, but calculation. Emily watched me with a strange mix of caution and curiosity. "You recognize that writing?" "Yes," I said. "Who is it?" "A mistake I made 40 years ago," I said. "Her name is Linda." I didn't sit. I didn't breathe deep or steady myself. I didn't need to. When you get hit with the truth you always suspected, your body doesn't panic. It adjusts. Emily stepped closer. "Why would she never forgave me for marrying my husband," I said. "She thought he should have chosen her. She said I stole her life." "Did she know your son?" "She practically helped raise him." A silence filled the room, the kind that isn't empty but overflowing. My eyes moved back to the documents. Every forged signature came from the same handwriting. "It wasn't my son alone," I said quietly. "He was manipulated." Emily swallowed. "By your sister." "And maybe someone else," I said, but she started it. Emily walked to the safe. "Then whatever's in here is the real truth." I nodded. "Yes. Do you know the combination?" "No." I looked at the ceiling. "But I know someone who would." 3 numbers. 3 dates anyone close to me would know. I entered the first, 118, my anniversary. Wrong. Next, 325, my son's birthday. Wrong. Last option, 913, the day my husband died. The safe clicked open. Emily's breath caught. I didn't look at her. The truth was inside, not on her face. Inside the safe was a small black notebook and a USB drive taped to the cover. The notebook was light, too light. Only a handful of pages filled. I opened to the first, and there it was. Numbers, dates, names connected to illegal withdrawals, account reroutes, forged medical claims, a full map of the scam. My son didn't start it. My son didn't plan it. He was used, the weakest link, the easiest to guilt trip, the one with a history of bad decisions. And every page pointed back to Linda. Every single one. My hand tightened around the notebook. Emily whispered, "Your sister did all this." "No," I said coldly. "She started it. My son executed it. But someone else collected the money." Emily frowned. "Who?" "The anchor," I said. "Whoever he kept meeting." And then, tucked in the back of the notebook, a name written in rushed handwriting. E.M. I stared at it. Emily did too. "That isn't me," she said quickly. "My initials are E.R." I looked closer. The handwriting wasn't my son's. It was my sister's. "You're right," I said. "This isn't you." "So who is it?" I closed the notebook slowly, deliberately. Someone with the initials E.M. who knew my sister, worked with my son, and had access to my life. Emily's voice trembled for the first time. That's when you knew? I nodded. That's when I vowed to get revenge. I didn't leave the storage unit right away. People rush when they're scared. I wasn't scared. I was calculating. The notebook sat in my hands like a loaded weapon. The USB drive felt heavier than it should. Emily stood near the door, as if she needed fresh air but didn't dare move. EM, she whispered again. It has to be someone close. It is, I said, and that's the worst part. She watched me with that same intensity she arrived with, like her whole life depended on my next sentence. Who do you think it is? She asked. I don't guess, I said. Guessing gets people killed, or robbed, or buried. That quiet truth made her straighten her back. I didn't open the USB drive. Not yet. Information is power, but timing is control. Instead, I said, We're done here. Emily blinked. Already? Yes, the rest of the answers aren't in this room. They're out there. We locked the unit. We walked to the car. Not a word exchanged. I drove. She kept glancing at the notebook on my lap like it might explode. Where are we going? She finally asked. My house, I said, where I can think without concrete walls listening. Because that storage unit felt wrong. Not haunted, monitored, a place designed for secrets, not truth. When we pulled into my driveway, Emily hesitated before getting out. This place was searched once, she said. What if they come back? I looked at her. They won't come here while I'm awake. Her shoulders eased, not because I sounded brave, because I sounded sure. Inside, I placed the notebook on the kitchen table. No theatrics, no deep breaths, just a slow, controlled push of the truth toward the light. Emily stood across from me, hands on the back of a chair, ready for whatever came next. Start talking, I said. Everything you saw, no filters. She swallowed. Then she started. My father kept meeting the same person, midnight, always parked behind a diner called Monroe's. Monroe? The name hit a nerve. Go on. The person wore gloves, hoodie, face covered, taller than my father, older, maybe your age. My fingertips pressed against the table. Monroe, the diner Linda used to work at, the one she swore she hated, the one she kept going back to. I said nothing. After he left the meetings, Emily continued, he acted different, nervous, angry, paranoid, like he owed them something. He did, I said. He owed them everything, including the money. She nodded slowly. And there's more. Of course there was. 2 months before he died, he started burning papers, bags full, receipts, forms, letters. He said he was cleaning up old mistakes. Not mistakes, I said. Evidence. She kept going. And then he started recording things, conversations, arguments, phone calls. None of them made sense to me. My eyes sharpened. Do you have them? She hesitated. Yes. That one word shifted the air. Where? I asked. In my car, she said. I didn't want to bring them inside until I knew if I could trust you. Smart girl. Distrust keeps people alive. Get them, I said. She left the room. I didn't follow. I didn't need to. I already had 10 steps planned ahead. While she was gone, I opened the notebook again, flipping to the last page where EM stood. Those initials weren't just familiar. They were obvious. EM. Ethan Monroe. My stomach didn't drop. My breath didn't hitch, just cold clarity tightening its grip. Ethan Monroe. My sister's old boyfriend. The man who'd been in love with her longer than my marriage lasted. A man who handled cash, forged signatures, worked small-time scams, and always hovered on the edge of something bigger. A man who vanished the same year my son disappeared. I closed the notebook. Emily came back holding a small bag, full but neatly zipped. She placed it on the table. Inside were 3 small voice recorders, old, worn, used. This is everything, she said. I picked one up, clicked play. My son's voice filled the room, older, sharper, cracked with fear. "I told you I can't keep doing this. She'll notice. My mother is smarter than you think." Emily stiffened. Another voice, distorted but deep, answered, "Your mother notices nothing. She sees what we let her see." Something inside me froze, then solidified. Emily whispered, "Do you know who that is?" "Yes," I said, my voice calm, my pulse steady, my mind already moving to the next step. "Who?" she pressed. I didn't answer. I didn't need to, because the next recording would confirm it. And when it did, revenge would no longer be a plan. It would be a schedule. I didn't rush to play the second recording. People rush when they're afraid of what's coming. I wasn't afraid. I was prepared. Emily stood still, her hands gripping the edge of the table like she needed something solid. The kitchen felt too quiet, too aware. I pressed play. This recording was different. Clean sound, close mic, no background noise. My son's voice, lower than the last one, tired in a way that didn't belong to youth. "I didn't want to do this anymore. You said it would be quick. You said she wouldn't get hurt." A pause. A long, heavy exhale. Then the other voice, the one I already knew, without hearing the name. "And she didn't. She lived. That's enough." Emily swallowed. "Who is that?" I didn't answer. Not yet. Not until the recording gave me exactly what I needed. My son snapped back. "She lived, but my father didn't. You never said he would." "Your father was weak," the second voice interrupted. "He wasn't part of the plan. He just got in the way." Got in the way. My husband, dismissed like a piece of trash on the sidewalk. Emily's breath hitched. I remained still. My son's voice broke then, not from grief, but panic. "I'm done. I'm not going to keep signing her name. If you want the money, take it yourself." And then, the voice I'd been waiting for, "You'll take it because your mother trusts you. She wouldn't trust me." Emily flinched because the implication was clear and cruel. I pressed pause. Her voice shook. Who is that? Who could she trust that much? I met her eyes. My sister. Emily's face drained of color. "Linda," she whispered. "Your sister did all this?" "She started it," I corrected, "but she didn't finish it. Because Linda never worked alone. She never had the brains for strategy, only bitterness, envy, and spite. She needed someone else to handle the technical parts, the forgery, the accounts. Ethan Monroe, EM, the initials in the notebook, the voice behind the threat, the ghost behind the money. I pressed play again. The recording picked up mid-argument, a loud, messy, broken. My son yelling, "I'm not doing it again. I don't care what you say." A heavy thud, like someone being shoved against a wall. Then Ethan's voice, "You think you can walk away? You think she'll ever forgive you? The moment she sees those papers, you're done. You'll lose her." Silence. Then a choked, terrified whisper from my son. "You forged her husband's signature too? You dragged me into this." Ethan snapped. "I saved you. I gave you a chance to make money. Your mother had plenty. She wouldn't miss it." Another pause. Cold, ruthless. "You want out? Fine. But if you run your mouth, she'll pay." The recording ended. The kitchen felt too small now. Too quiet, like the truth was suffocating the air. Emily stared at me, eyes wide, trembling. "He used your son," she whispered. "They both did. He didn't steal the money for himself. He stole it because he thought he had no choice." I finished. I sat down. Slow. Deliberate. "Emily," I said quietly, "your father wasn't innocent. He made decisions, bad ones, but he wasn't the architect. He wasn't the mastermind." She nodded, tears gathering but refusing to fall. "My father always said he owed someone," she said. "I never understood what he meant." "He owed Ethan," I said, "and Ethan owned him." We sat there, silence heavy and sharp. "What about your sister?" Emily asked. "Where is she now?" "Linda moved 2 towns over years ago," I said. "Claims she's sick, claims she's alone, claims she wants peace. Emily's voice hardened. She lied. She always lied. We opened the third recorder. This one began with a different tone, calmer, quiet, but deadly underneath. My sister's voice. She thinks we're family. She thinks blood means something. You know better now. Emily stiffened. My sister kept talking, her tone syrupy and poisonous. Take the money, Jason. Take it and go. Start a new life. When it's time, I'll come for the rest. She doesn't need it. She has the house. She has memories. That's enough for old women. Old women. My hands curled into fists, but my voice stayed level. Emily whispered, "She talked about you like you were disposable." That's how she always saw me. Then, the last line of the recording, the one that answered everything. If your father gets in the way again, leave him behind. Just don't get caught. Ethan will handle the papers. I clicked stop. Emily covered her mouth with her hand. They killed him, she whispered. Your husband. They didn't push him, but they caused it. Stress, fear, pressure. They killed him with it. Yes, I said, they killed him. I didn't cry, didn't tremble, didn't fall apart. Pain had burned through me 25 years ago. What remained now was steel. Emily looked at me, really looked at me, as if seeing a new version of the woman she met earlier. What are we going to do? She asked. I stood up. Not we, I said. Me. Emily took a step back. Wait, you're not going alone. These people are dangerous. I turned to her slowly. So am I. People think confrontation is loud. Screaming, slamming doors, chaos. No, the most dangerous confrontations happen quietly, in rooms where no one can run. I didn't tell Emily where we were going. If she knew, she might have tried to stop me, and I wasn't giving anyone that chance. She followed me to the car anyway. Where are we going? She asked. To finish something that should have been finished 25 years ago. She swallowed. You mean Linda? I didn't confirm or deny. The truth was written all over my face. The drive to my sister's neighborhood was short. She lived small, tucked inside a gray duplex with a dying porch plant and curtains always drawn. I walked to the door. Emily stayed 3 steps behind me, close enough to react, far enough to observe. I knocked once. The door opened within seconds. Too fast, too prepared. Linda stood there, older, thinner. Eyes hollow but sharp, like someone who's been hiding from everything except her own guilt. She froze when she saw Emily beside me. Then her eyes landed on the black notebook in my hand. Her face drained. You shouldn't have found that, she whispered. I stepped past her and into the house. Emily followed without waiting for permission. Linda closed the door slowly, like she already knew the outcome. You forged my signature, I said. Not a question, a verdict. Linda swallowed. It wasn't supposed to go that far. So it was supposed to go... What, a little far? She flinched. I only meant to take a small amount, she said. Jason was struggling. Ethan said, Stop right there, I cut in. Say his name one more time and see what happens. Linda's lips trembled, not with fear, with arrogance trying desperately to hide. I didn't force Jason, she said. He agreed. He liked easy money. You groomed him, I said, flat, accurate. Linda's eyes widened. I didn't. You manipulated him. You fed him excuses. You turned him into your weapon. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. Your husband wasn't supposed to get hurt, she whispered. You mean he wasn't supposed to die? She didn't respond. Emily stepped forward then, voice trembling but steady enough. You ruined your own nephew, she said. You used him. You scared him. He thought Ethan would kill him if he stopped. Linda's eyes flicked to her. I know who you are. Jason talked about you. Emily stiffened. Don't lie, she said. He said you were the only good thing he ever made. Emily's breath shook. I kept my eyes on Linda. You came to Emily's apartment, I said. Linda blinked. What? Don't lie to me, I said. Someone tore her place apart looking for the key. Linda's voice cracked. That wasn't me. That was Ethan. He's still around? I asked. She hesitated. That hesitation was the answer. Emily's voice sharpened. You're still in contact with him. Linda folded into herself, fading into old habits, shrinking, minimizing, pretending she was smaller than her actions. He said you'd never find out, she whispered. He said we were safe. My jaw tightened. Where is he now? I don't... My voice dropped an inch. Linda! She jumped. Then she broke. He left town when Jason died, she said. He said it wasn't safe anymore. He said you'd start digging. Emily whispered. Because he knew your mother was smarter than all of them. Linda snapped. He said you'd never figure it out. Her panic cracked through the room like thunder. I stepped closer. She backed into the wall. No escape. You killed my husband, I said. Quiet, dead calm, the kind of truth that lands like a blade. You stole my money. You used my son. You destroyed everything I built. Her lips trembled. I didn't mean for it to be permanent. That's the thing about consequences, I said. You don't get to negotiate the length. She collapsed onto the couch, breath shaking, hands shaking, finally realizing the gravity of what she'd done. Are you going to the police? She whispered. Not yet. Her head jerked up. Fear, real fear, lit in her eyes. What do you want? I leaned down just enough for her to feel the heat of my breath. Justice, I said, and after 25 years it won't be gentle. Her eyes flooded with panic. I turned toward the door. Emily followed. But before we left, I said one last thing. Not loud, not harsh, just final. You're going to confess, and you're going to do it my way. I didn't talk on the drive back, not to Emily, not to myself, not even inside my own head. Justice requires silence, planning, space. Emily watched me from the passenger seat, tense but trusting. Not because she thought I was harmless, but because she understood I had a destination and a target. When we got home, I went straight to the kitchen table. I opened the notebook, the letter, the forged papers. I laid them out in rows, evidence like puzzle pieces lining up on their own. Emily broke the quiet first. What's your next move? Exposure, I said. Public, clean, impossible to deny. She hesitated. You're not going to hurt her physically, right? I looked at her. Long, steady, unblinking. No, physical pain fades. Public truth doesn't. Her shoulders eased. I picked up the USB drive. All of this. The recordings, the documents. We're not hiding it. We're bringing it into the light. Emily swallowed. You're going to post it? No, I said. Better. I opened my laptop. We're sending everything to the people she pretends to respect. What do you mean? Her church, her book club, her neighbors, her job, her landlord, every single person she lies to. Emily stared. That's ruthless. No, I corrected. It's fair. Linda built her entire life on one thing: reputation, appearances, respectability. So I would take exactly that from her, piece by piece, name by name, truth by truth. Linda volunteered at the church every Sunday, waving donation envelopes around like badges of honor. Pastor Green adored her, so I emailed him first. No commentary, no explanation, just the recordings and scanned files. Emily watched my finger hover over send. Ready? She whispered. She's had 25 years, I said. She's ready enough. I clicked. Linda worked part-time at a small medical clinic. Irony wasn't lost on me. A woman who forged medical documents working in healthcare. I sent the evidence to the clinic director. Not anonymously, not quietly. Full name, full story, full truth. Emily whispered, "She'll lose her job." "She lost my husband," I said. "This is the smallest consequence imaginable." This one wasn't about justice. It was about humiliation. I uploaded the forged signatures, the audio clips, the notebook scans, everything, to the community group Linda monitored like her personal kingdom. In less than 2 minutes, comments began pouring in. Is this real? Linda did what? Isn't this illegal? This is awful. Call the police. Emily exhaled slowly. She's finished. Not yet, I said. We still have one move left. I didn't go to the station. I didn't call. I emailed Detective Harrow, the same detective who investigated my husband's death 25 years ago and told me, sometimes heart attacks just happen. Well, sometimes they don't. I attached everything, every document, every forged signature, every voice recording, and one line at the bottom. This is the truth you missed. Emily sat down across from me. What happens now? Now, I said. She watches everything she touched fall apart. Linda called. Of course she did. I didn't let the phone ring twice. Emily froze when she heard her voice through the speaker. May, what did you do? Her voice shook. Good. Justice, I said. You can't do this to me. You did it to yourself. They're calling me. My boss, my pastor, people are at my house. They think I'm a criminal. You are. May, please. I made mistakes. I cut her off. You killed my husband with stress and lies. You ruined my son. You stole my life. You don't get to plead innocence now. She sobbed. Real or fake, didn't matter. The truth stayed the truth. I'll lose everything, she cried. You should have thought of that before you forged my name. She kept crying, begging, bargaining, but nothing mattered. Nothing would change the next steps. I ended the call. Emily stared at me, stunned. That was cold. I nodded. Justice isn't warm. 3 sharp knocks, strong, official. Emily's eyes widened. The police, she said. I opened the door calmly. Detective Harrow stood there, older, tired, holding a folder thick with printed evidence. He cleared his throat. Mrs. Hayes, we need you to come with us. We have questions about the case you reopened. Of course, I said. Emily whispered, Do you want me to stay here? No, I said. You're coming. Why? Because you're part of the truth now. Her eyes softened. She nodded. I looked at Detective Harrow. Are you arresting Linda tonight? His jaw tightened. Yes, we have enough. Good. Then let's finish what they started. The station wasn't loud, didn't smell like drama, didn't echo with handcuffs or shouting. Real justice isn't cinematic. It's paperwork, signatures, statements, and the slow tightening of truth around the guilty. Detective Harrow sat across from me with the same look he wore 25 years ago. Back then, it was pity. This time, it was apology. He slid a recorder across the table. Mrs. Hayes, for the record, we need your statement. I nodded. Simple. Clean. I told them everything, not with emotion, not with theatrics, just facts. My sister forging signatures, Ethan planning withdrawals, my son pressured, cornered, used, my husband's stress spiraling into a fatal collapse. Emily sat beside me, quiet but strong. Every so often she glanced at me as if she was seeing a version of herself in 20 years, a woman who survived betrayal without letting it rot her heart. When I finished, the room sat in a strange stillness. Detective Harrow closed the folder. We've already taken Linda into custody, he said. She wasn't surprised. I nodded. I expected that. She said Ethan Monroe was the one who pushed your son into everything, claimed he handled all the accounts. He did, I said. But he won't show his face here. We already put out a warrant, Harrow added. If he's still alive, we'll find him. Still alive. The phrase didn't hit me the way it should. Anger doesn't burn forever. Eventually it becomes metal, cold, solid, unbreakable. They let me go after that, no drama, no victory speech, just the quiet opening of a door and the soft shuffle of paperwork behind me. Outside, Emily waited. "You okay?" she asked. I looked up at the night sky, dark, calm, wide open. "I'm not okay," I said, "but I'm free." She nodded, eyes glistening. "I just wanted to know who he really was," she whispered. "My father." "You know now," I said. "He was flawed, weak, cornered, but not heartless." She breathed in, slow. "Thank you for not hating him." "I never hated him," I said. "I hated what they turned him into." We drove home in silence, not tense this time, just full of truth, full of exhaustion, full of something close to closure. Back in my kitchen, I poured myself a cup of tea, the same way I used to when life still made sense. Emily watched me. "That's your ritual, isn't it?" she said. "Tea when things get heavy." I nodded. "It's simple, predictable, safe." She smiled softly. I placed a second cup in front of her, my small, symbolic gesture, the same one I used to make for my son when he was young, before life pulled him into the wrong hands. We sat there, two women linked by blood neither of us chose, drinking warmth after years of cold truth. After a long stretch of quiet, Emily asked, "What happens to Linda now?" "She faces the truth she created," I said. "Exactly the way I faced the one she left me." "And Ethan? If he's alive," I said, "justice will find him too. If he's dead, the truth already beat me to him." Emily nodded, absorbing every word. Then she finally said the thing she'd been holding back. "You didn't deserve any of this." I looked at her, really looked at her. "No," I said, but I survived it anyway. 5 years passed without warning. That's how time moves when the chaos finally stops. Not fast, not slow, just steady, like a clock that finally remembers its job. Linda never left prison. Her health declined, her letters went unanswered, and her name became something people whispered only when reminding their kids who not to become. Ethan Monroe was found 6 months later in a motel 3 states away. He'd used a fake ID, worked under the table, and died alone. A heart attack. No family, no funeral, no one to claim him. I didn't celebrate. I didn't mourn either. Some endings arrive exactly the way they should. As for Emily, her life didn't fold into mine the way people assume. We didn't become mother and daughter. We didn't force something unnatural. We became something better. 2 women with shared scars, choosing to stay connected without obligation. She visits every few weeks. Sometimes we talk, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we sit on the porch with 2 cups of tea and let the silence do the comforting. I never remarried, never moved houses, never tried to rebuild the life I lost. I built a different one instead, a quieter one, a cleaner one, a truer one. The symbolic thing? The tea. Every morning, every night. I pour a cup. Not because I'm grieving anymore, but because I'm grateful I came out the other side without becoming the people who tried to break me. Looking back, I don't see tragedy. I see survival sharpened into wisdom. And if there's one thing I learned, it's this. Sometimes being left behind is the fastest way to get ahead. Now I want to ask you something. The one listening to my story. What would you have done in my place? Tell me in the comments. And if you've ever trusted the wrong people, this story is for you.